Ain't this what they've been waiting for? You ready?
Hey guys, welcome back to your next episode of Coach's Corner. Today we're going to stay on the administrative side and still talk about program building. Okay, so today we're going to talk about 20 keys to a successful program. This is part one. We're going to do 2 episodes for this, okay, because it's a long subject and we kind of got to cover a lot of things. So let's get to our list. All right, first on your list is when building a new program, there's a whole bunch of things that you want to get going. All right, and when you're a head coach and you first get a job, you got so many things you want to do. You want to grab uniforms. You want to get your players together. You want to make sure. So here's a list that I felt like we could compile, okay, to make it easier for our program to go in the right direction, okay? First thing, you got to have a philosophy. You got to have some kind of built-in covenants of what you're going to do, all right, and what you believe in, what your program is about. Some guys say focus plus effort is success. Okay, some guys use all in. Some guys use count on me. Find some kind of motto or philosophy that you want to build your program around, that you want your program to stand for. Blue collar work ethic, something of that sort. Okay? Number 2, you got to have a staff. You got to have guys that you believe in, that you believe can help your kids. Okay? And that can be mentors and role models for the kids in your program. Also, that are knowledgeable, that can help these kids get better. Okay? That's a big thing. All right, 3, X's and O's. What are we going to do? What do we do offensively? What do we do defensively? What kind of kids do we have that allows us to do certain things offensively and defensively? Okay, so make sure what you want to do. What do we do special teams wise? What kind of scheme are we going to use? Are we a spread offense? Are we a power offense? Are we a 4-2-5 defense? Do we run a nickel? Are we an odd front, even front? So all these things got to go into effect of what you're going to do with your team and your staff and your installations, okay? So with these first 3, we know we got to be hand in hand, and we know we've really got to be sticklers about it, okay? Organization of program practice. We all know everybody doesn't work in the school, or everybody does not have the availability. So what we have to understand is that when we're doing practices or workouts or training, we've got to understand where our guys are, where our coaches are, what coaches can be there. If you got a guy that you got to have, but he works at a different job, you got to be flexible. You got to help him get there. So you got to make sure that we understand what we're doing as a program for practice, okay? Scheduling, all right? You want to get a head start on your scheduling for the season. Games fill up quick, rosters fill fast. You never know what's going on, so you got to be on top of that. You got to be talking to guys. When you go to clinics, when you go to things like that, you got to be talking to guys, emailing guys, searching on the internet. You got to find games. Everybody doesn't have a ready-made schedule, okay? So some guys do have to contact other coaches and find a game, okay? Recruiting. All right, and you got to recruit the hallways. You got to do what you can do. If you got a kid that may transfer, you got to get those guys in. But recruiting the hallways is big. You never know what you may have in your hallway, especially in public school. Private school is a little different, but in public school, you got a lot of guys that come around, guys that may have used to play football, big guys that never played, guys that have never tried. So you got to kind of, keep those things in order. All right, and you got to get in those guys. You got to talk to those guys. You got to make sure those guys understand that there is a need for them in your program. That simple, okay? Motivation. Let's make sure we are always motivated. We are motivated by maybe a championship. We are motivated by bringing things together and creating a better program. We are motivated by new energy, new refreshments, a new season. Okay, so create that motivation with your team and your staff. All right, and let's use this motivation to push us through what's going on, okay? The next step would be getting your off-season workouts together. Your off-season is broke down into 3 parts, okay? You got winter, you got spring, and you got summer. A lot of guys play different sports, but what you want to do is get the guys that aren't doing anything, and you want to make sure that they stay on a regimen, that they stay working out, that they make improvements. The guys playing other sports, you also want them in the weight room, but they're playing other sports, they're doing something, they're being active. And sometimes in those other sports, they're also working out. Okay, so there's the leeway in there. But your guys that aren't playing, they got to be in these workout sessions, they got to be making improvements, and they got to be improving their body. It's that simple, okay? Next after that is what do we do with 7-on-7 and lineman development. Find a 7-on-7 league. Find a tournament. Do something with your team. Start installing, getting the passing game together. And now in the 2000s, the passing game is very important. Okay? In the older days, 7-on-7 wasn't looked at upon as really a big thing because everybody ran the ball. Now, with the game being the way it is and the involvements that it's had, passing game is important. So passing game is important. You got to get this 7-on-7. You got to get passing league done. You got to get it going. Also, while that's going with your skill guys, you got to have lineman development. So your offensive lineman, your defensive lineman, stance and start, punch placement, kick sliding, pass rushing, understanding your gaps, keeping leverage, maintaining leverage. There's a few different things that you want to work on every offseason that you can never work enough of. Okay? So the 7-on-7 lineman development with the off-season workouts, these are key to our development, okay? 10th is more of a thing for your fans and building your program is get a media guide. Get a media guide, get a booster club program, get something together where people, fans, they're creating more interest into your program. Also, with this media guide, this gives you a way to kind of simple fundraise. You know, selling programs at the game, giving them out, doing different things. You want to raise a recognition of your program. You want people to know what you're doing in your program. Okay? Guys, thank you. We'll resume next week with part 2 of 20 Keys to a Successful Program. Thank you for joining me at Legacy Football Academy Coaches Corner.